Hi and welcome to this video, and in this video I've got some DeBomb with me this evening. I will be measuring the Scoville Heat Unit of the DeBomb, and I'll be doing it on the FoodSense Generation 4, which is sometimes called a Scoville Meter, and that Scoville Meter is basically in Bluetooth connection with the app, and I'll run through a quick demonstration basically on that. Before I go forward, I just want to kind of give you a bit of a background as to what I've done this evening. I've obviously got the DeBomb here. I know that the DeBomb has a Scoville heat unit of about 135,600 Scoville heat units. Now, I think that value appears on most bottles. So at some point during the development of this, they did measure it, obviously, and get 135,600 Scoville heat units. It doesn't mean, when you've got an input that's basically, chilies, it doesn't mean that every batch is necessarily identical. It's completely fine because obviously you're talking about a material that comes into this, which is chili and chili peppers, and that's a natural product, and it will have natural variation in it. That said, what I've been doing this evening, I've been sort of doing a bit of my own sort of science this evening. So I've gone a bit of a convoluted way about this. So I wouldn't expect you to actually do quite what I did. But what I have done, and I knew I was going to end up doing what's called a 1 in 1,000 dilution. That's because I knew this was a hot sauce. I know that capsaicin is not terribly soluble. We have this buffer that we end up dissolving the sample in order to actually do the tests. So I knew I was going to end up doing 1 in 1,000 dilution, but I took a bit of a convoluted route to that. So I took 0.1 grams of the Tabasco, of the DeBomb, certainly not Tabasco, and I took 0.9 milliliters of the buffer, and I do have a vortexer here. The reason I bring that up is because it's a really quick way of getting a homogeneous sample. So I do have a vortexer here, and I have been using that this evening. So what I did is I took 0.1 grams of the DeBomb, I added 0.9 mils of the buffer, and I vortexed those two together, and that gave me my 1 in 10 dilution. Now, you wouldn't do this, to be honest with you. I mean, but this is for my sort of own reasons. I was just doing a bit of science and a bit of sort of verification. So I call that solution A. I took 0.1 mils of solution A, and I dissolved that then with 0.9 mils of the buffer. Like I say, don't take this convoluted route. It was just me doing some science on the way to actually getting a result this evening. And I vortexed that. I'm very careful about that vortexing, because I knew when I was doing this series of dilutions, I wanted solution A to be very homogeneous by the time I took the sample for solution B. And similarly, I vortexed solution B, and I took 0.1 milliliters of solution B and diluted in 0.9 mils of buffer, and that gave me solution C. And so what I will now do is I will change cameras slightly and just do a quick test. So I've got my app up. I've got my 1 in 1,000 dilution with me here. I'm just going to flick the lid off, get my 50 microliters of sample. I've got my 50 microliters of sample. I've put that onto the sensor. I'm just going to give this a name. The reason I give it a name is like all the data that I otherwise gather on my FoodSense Generation 4 actually automatically goes to the cloud as well, which is super useful. I'm just going to tell the app that I did a 1 in 1,000 dilution, and that's it. Now I can start the measurement. So it's a small matter, but the assay runs quite rapidly. When it has run, you get a result there and then on your smart device. But also, and I can see that it's running the assay because there's some LEDs here that kind of tell me what the machine is up to at any one time. So at the moment it's blinking away, and I've also got the progress bar obviously on the app as well. So these two things are confirmational that everything's working okay. But I get results on the phone. So I've got a result of 174,000 Scoville heat units. Now, I know that it does say 135,000 Scoville heat units on the bottle. So you could argue I'm I think I'm going to try and do a quick bit of maths here. I think I'm about 35% over, but I'm not really over because this actually, the label doesn't change on this. When they were developing it, they would have, measured it, but it doesn't mean that every bottle is necessarily identical, and it's certainly no criticism of the bomb. I do want to slightly change screens for a second. So what I want to do is just go here and say what I've done here is I can see here the time, the date, and the operator, and I can actually see my raw data up in the cloud. So I can see my result. That was that 174,000 that I recorded earlier on. But I also see my raw data in the cloud as well. And this is really important for anyone who's really, let's say, manufacturing hot sauces, and you're looking for, understanding your batch to batch consistency, or understanding what, the hotness of what you're actually sending out the door really is, then this is a quick way of doing it. And also it can be part of a quality system, because in fact all the results go up to the cloud. So I just want to say thank you. If you've got any questions of FoodSense Generation 4, please don't hesitate to reach out to us otherwise, and there's the contact details there. So yeah, thanks very much. Take care. Bye bye.